Hello there. Welcome to the topic 15.3, module 15. So what we have here, we continue our regression test piece, but now we look at regression test selection. We're going to look at two techniques, recommended techniques. However, as we look at those techniques, you're going to be reminded of what we have already done and how one piece is useful for doing something else as well. So let's drill deeper, and a quick recap of what we are trying to do. We're trying to do regression and the changes, how these changes affect various systems. You've got added, modified, deleted code. So let's get to the first one, where we're going to look at use of execution trace. How the program gets executed forms the basis of selection of regression tests. Does that ring a bell? We are looking at the control flow graph. Control flow graph. We're also looking at program dependence graph. Are we looking at DU pairs? We are also looking at define and use pairs. In execution trace, we are looking at a control flow, specifically control flow. And based on what flow has changed, we go for picking up those test cases. One way would be to look at test cases and the flow and find out where there is a gap and fill that gap with the required test cases. Or run the test cases, understand all the flows, figure out which flows yet are not covered with any test case. Either way, there is going to be a gap. By design models, if such paths are known, then it will be forward engineering. We know which paths are not covered, which execution traces will not be covered. Add a test case, and in the execution round for regression, use it. So you can see that the techniques that are available become useful for our purpose in various phases. So similarly, this is execution trace. Let's look at what we are seeing here, dynamic slicing. Dynamic slicing is all about the affected variables, and they got to be part of the execution. These are treated as better than execution trace because you're not only going from one to the other. In execution trace, it will be node to node, but now you're looking at what is happening to those variables which are getting added. So definitely there is a control flow graph, dependence graphs, but we are looking at dynamic slicing based on execution and of course the affected variable. These two as techniques form basis for selection of test cases. They can form basis for selection of test cases. So we have looked at a plethora of things. But everywhere you see, whatever change or gap is created because of new features, newly added stuff, deleted stuff, that is what we are trying to cover to make sure that those changes are not affecting the base. Base works as it should work, and also these changes have not added more bugs. And everything as a whole is still a robust product. That's what we intend to do during regression and optimization of test cases. So that's what we had in our 15.3. Thank you.